Hello, and welcome to For the Purpose of, the podcast about trends, big ideas, and exciting news in the world of EdTech. I am Sarah Wood, and I'm joined by
Ron Heltman
and Keith Tramper. Today we have a special guest. Chelsea Kittredge, our mental wellness consultant at Kent ISD, will be joining us, and we'll be talking about mental health impacts on educators and students, social emotional supports for teachers, and the importance of supporting mental health needs proactively.
Okay, so every time with our cool podcast, we like to start out with a question. And this one is not really a question, it's actually a research study that came out from a group called the PIRG, P-I-R-G, which is the Public Interest Research Group. They came out with this article about Chromebook churn and how Chromebooks are the world's worst laptops because they create tremendous amounts of electronic waste. They state that just doubling the life of Chromebooks in the year 2020 could cut emissions of equivalent of taking 900,000 cars off the road. So it was an interesting story. You can probably check more if you just do like Chromebook e-waste or whatever. Lots of our media companies have covered this. So I have some thoughts.
Oh man, is it a Ron's rant?
It might be a little rant about the story, but it's just interesting that I'm trying to figure out the angle of where they're coming from. So yes, I agree that protecting the environment is always a good thing. Creating more electronic waste is probably not a great thing. However, is they talked a lot about how terrible these things are, but they didn't give any good alternatives. And to me, when I think about alternatives to a Chromebook, the first alternative I might think about would be, let's just say that we give all of our children in K through 12 education a MacBook Air, just as an example. How much are they a piece, guys?
a lot.
About $1,000?
About $1,000, right? And a Chromebook, about 200 to 220. And so in the article, they're talking about how Chromebooks last for about 3 years before they die, or 4 years. And they also, in Chromebooks, they have a end of life thing, but they don't get updates after about 4 or 5 years. And actually, Google has extended that to about 8 years. But I want us to just think about, I just wonder, have either of you ever seen a child or a teacher spill a liquid onto a laptop?
Only beet juice.
Beet juice. That was the best ticket ever.
Yeah. But just, I want to just think real quick, when they talk about this, they don't understand how these devices get used by our children, especially, I don't know, I'll ask. Kindergartners through fifth graders, they're pretty okay on devices, right?
It depends on the day.
A little rough.
Yeah. But they feel like they might have a little more care for their device, right? They are klutzy, of course, but I mean,
They might not have as many worries about the cleanliness of their hands and fingers.
Yeah, true, because the K through 5ers, for whatever reason, and I've said this for years, they emanate some weird sticky substance that comes off them, almost like snakes have or something. That protective covering. It's a combination of peanut butter and
boogers.
Something. Yeah.
Dirt.
Yeah, all that. Okay, now let's talk about when you get to middle school. What happens with any device that you give a middle schooler?
Well, with my own middle schooler, it's a matter of if I give her anything, what will happen to that? Usually, I don't know.
Yep.
From my experience, they're shoving it into their backpacks and it gets crushed between a textbook and something else, or who knows.
I drive by a bus stop on my way to work every once in a while, and I see the kids lining up down there, and I see what they do in their backpacks. They swing them around their head and they chuck them into the air and they throw them onto the sidewalk. And I'm like, I bet you there's a Chromebook in there. So I want you to just think about that. Okay, Chromebook or MacBook Air or an iPad. Let's start out. Chromebook $200, iPad $499, $500 a piece, MacBook Air $1,000. Yeah. So anyway, I think this article is just really interesting. Is about the way that they're coming about this is, I have this idea in my head that this was funded by somebody a non Chromebook manufacturer. Is that too cynical?
Honestly, when I read the article, they talked about e-waste in there, but which is great if you actually take it to a facility or have someone pick it up. And my first thought was, what about these remote places that struggled to get Chromebooks and internet access? How easily accessible is, recycling your digital things, your electronics and things like that? So it might be classified as e-waste, but doesn't make it there.
Yeah, I think they said like 1 in every 3 devices actually get recycled. The rest end up in the trash or on a shelf for the museum in 20 years. So yeah, it's interesting to hear that. And I think there's another issue within that even if you're recycling the actual devices, not everything can be just pulled out of that and plugged into another computer to recycle and refurbish, because all companies want to make money off of it, right? So they put little things in there that make it not compatible between different versions, even if it's like same device a year later, right? 3100 versus 3110s. They'll put little things in there so they're not compatible on purpose. So you have to buy new ones, and that therefore destroy old ones and create more e-waste.
I think any laptop in the hands of a child that lasts 3 years is a miracle. I mean, to be honest with you, I think all of us have had, our laptops that our organizations may issue us, and, they're on a 3-year replacement life cycle too, generally, right? So I don't know. I just think with the kids. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story. I don't know why it came out when it did. It was just strange. And again, just thinking, my conspiracy hat says there was a reason behind this. It was, years ago, Microsoft, kind of when Chromebooks were starting to come and eat their lunch, they did a bunch of research that felt very similar to this too. So I guess we'll see what happens. I wonder what the next Chromebook is. What the next version of, are we still going to be doing Chromebooks for students in the next 10 years or so? At some point, Chrome is going to get so bloaty that you're going to need, 32 gigs of RAM to run the thing. I just kind of wonder what the down the road is. 10 years. It'd be interesting to see. So.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too. Like in the research they did, 90% of middle and high schools have a 1-to-1 program.
Yeah.
And I think 84% in the elementary schools, right? So just the sheer volume of Chromebooks that are out there is just hard to fathom. Yeah. What will be next?
Do you remember? I don't know if you guys even remember this, because I don't know how many years ago this was now. Do you guys remember the One Laptop Per Child project? Called them the OLPC.
No.
Okay, listeners, look this up. You might remember Nicholas Negroponte of the MIT Media Lab. They came out with a one laptop per child. It was kind of a strange white and green colored little laptop. Had antennas on both sides of the screen or the display that you could flip up to hook them up to Wi-Fi. And they're supposed to build, like, the second version of this was supposed to maybe have mesh networking. When you bought one of these, they would donate a second one of these to a developing country, like a student in a developing country. And I think what happened with them, that they just kind of ran out of money with this project. But this was like the pre-Chromebook land. Ran on a really strange version. It was kind of a real lightweight Linux variant. I think it came with some accessories, like you could get a hand crank to charge it if you wanted to, if you're in a place like just someplace that didn't have reliable electricity or no solar to charge them. It was an interesting project. I think they just ran out of money. But
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Now do you remember them?
I looked it up and I was like, oh, the Shrek ear is on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah. That thing just kind of just slid off the planet. So that would have been very interesting if it would have made it where we'd be today. What generation we would be of those devices.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's enough of that rant. So let's get on to our next part, which will be our guest interview.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey there. Are you tired of attending professional learning sessions that leave you feeling bored and uninspired? Well, get ready for a unique and engaging learning experience. The PL in a Box is our spin on a traditional subscription box, but with learning at the core. The Rumsey Doodle for Your Noodle PL in a Box will not only get you excited to learn about sketchnoting and how you can leverage it in teaching and learning, but it will also provide you with many ready-to-use resources, a collaborative learning environment, and all the materials you need to get started in your sketchnoting journey. Whether you're new to sketchnoting or have had some prior experience, you will walk away from this learning with a handful of tools in your teaching tool belt. Be on the lookout for registration that will be coming soon for the 3 cohorts. One starting in August 2023, one starting in November 2023, and one starting in February 2024. Join the sketchnoting revolution and draw your path to success with the Rumsey Doodle for Your Noodle PL in a Box.
And welcome back. We are joined with our special guest here today, and we have Chelsea Kittredge Farrell, who is a mental wellness consultant here at Kent ISD. So we'd like to welcome her to For the Purpose Of, and maybe to start out, Chelsea, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I am recently in a role called a mental wellness consultant at Kent ISD. Prior to that, I was a behavior consultant for some of our local districts for a while, and before that, a school social worker. So I hold a social work license in the state of Michigan.
Can you help us with our behaviors ever, or is it just for kids?
Yeah,
mostly?
actually, the principles are the same for adults.
Okay,
They just don't call me in for adults as much.
Well, after this, we may need some. So
Yeah, yeah.
So as a mental wellness consultant, what does that mean? Like, what do you do here at the Kent ISD?
Yeah, so the role is somewhat evolving, but really what I try to do is work with our school-based mental health professionals out in our local school districts to determine what we're seeing as the greatest needs with students, and then really look at linking them with community supports, community mental health therapy, as well as some like up and coming professional learning to look at how we can best support the mental health needs of students. I've also been diving in a bit to staff mental wellness, to be honest. That's certainly a need in education right now. And so providing a little bit of training, but also just kind of meeting with staff members to hear what's going well, and then advocating for some change that hopefully will lead to a more sustainable and mentally healthy, schools for everybody.
I love that. I know as part of the Thrive program going on right now, you're doing the SEL. It's for adults too, and I've attended those, and it's just been awesome to just carve that time out of the day just for me and listen and go through your activities and that. So I really appreciate you doing that for adults.
Thank you. It's been great to have you there as a partner too.
Yes. All right. So we're going to jump into some of the questions that we have lined up for you because we are gearing up for May's Mental Health Month, and we thought you would be a perfect guest to have on to discuss some of these topics that we can really bring to light during this month and really every month, I guess. So maybe just starting out, what are some misconceptions you might want to clarify on social emotional learning or mental health?
I'll share a couple. I have a lot.
Go for it.
But, one of the biggest misconceptions, I think, when we think about mental health is there's a misconception that not everyone has it. Because oftentimes when we talk about mental health in our culture, we're really trying to communicate a mental health challenge or a mental health diagnosis, disability. But really, everyone has mental health, just like everyone has physical health. And we fall somewhere in that spectrum of health. And so that's one misconception. I think another misconception is that mental health challenges are rare. What the data is really showing us is that it's not rare. A lot of people have mental health challenges. We also know that they're not constant or stagnant. So you may go through a point in your life where you're experiencing clinical depression. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to be experiencing the symptoms of clinical depression. So certainly we see mental health challenges kind of ebb and flow throughout the lifespan of a person. The language that is oftentimes associated with mental health in schools is that of social emotional learning. I think lots of people know that those things go together, but we don't always know how they fit. And a big misconception is that social emotional learning doesn't belong in education. You'll hear people say, please just focus on the academics. SEL doesn't belong. But what we know from decades of research and science is that the connection between our mood and our emotions and our mental state of being and our ability to learn academic content is completely integrated, and we can't separate those things out. So really, in order to achieve our goals around academic content for students, we really do need to prioritize and focus on social emotional learning and mental health too.
I love that. That's so true, because I know oftentimes you'll hear, if students come to school hungry, they're not ready to learn. But it's kind of along those same lines, I guess, from what you're saying, as far as if they are not emotionally in the right place, that learning is not going to happen.
Absolutely. And we know that from that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that food falls at the bottom rung there. And I think as educators, and honestly, as adults, a lot of us can name those first bottom rungs, right? We know kids need food and we know they need safe housing. When you work your way up that continuum, you get to things like connection and self-esteem and where that social emotional skills come into play. And those are just as critical.
Absolutely. And maybe building upon that a little bit, what are some realistic, approachable things that teachers can do to support their own mental health needs so that when the students show up, they are ready to support their needs as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we'll dig into some things that we can do. Like anything that you're trying to teach, you really have to have a practice of it yourself, right? Like you have to understand how that works. And so I think a lot of the work that we've been doing in the SEL for adults is really looking at what are some of those emotional regulation strategies that work for us as adults and how can we model them for our students. So for example, many educators have trained themselves to not stop and check in with how they're feeling in a moment. We've trained ourselves to just kind of push on through because the work is heavy and important. But I think even just a practice of pausing in your classroom in front of your students and talking everyone through, a moment to check in with your body. How are you feeling? And then matching that with a strategy, like let's all take a deep breath here and let the feeling go, is going to be helpful not only for teacher mental health and wellness, but also models that for students as well. Another thing that I think is critical is we all have different things that kind of fill our bucket when we're talking about wellness. So mental wellness is really that space of staying at that healthy end. This is more that preventative space. For some people, it's physical activity and a certain type of physical activity. For others, it's connection with a friends group or a family member or a religious organization. Some people are really filled up by creative endeavors or reading. I think knowing what those things are and ensuring that those stay a part of your regular schedule is critical. And what I know about educators is they're a very community serving group of people. And so those things that we need to keep us healthy fall away probably most quickly in this group, right? Something happens in a day, a student needs something, we weren't able to get to everything. And so many of my colleagues I know are the first ones to say, I'm going to skip my creative class tonight and I'm going to focus here. But we know that we have to be healthy to do the work. And so really scheduling those things that are helpful to you and keeping them on your schedule as much as you're able is going to be imperative. And then at that more significant end, if you're to a place where it's not really about wellness anymore, and potentially you are feeling like you're having one of those moments in time, looking at outpatient therapy or connecting with someone in human resources and talking about what the options are through an employee assistance program or something. I think it really is crucial that we tap into that more intensive support when we need it and really get that feedback from the professionals in the community.
And I think just in general, being open to having more conversations about it, I think really reduces the stigma around it. And how, I mean, we all have bad days, we all have our moments. And I think acknowledging them and being okay with saying, today I am not okay. It's one of those days.
Absolutely. And modeling that for students is so powerful. When you talk to young children, especially, they often think that adults maybe don't act out their anger because they don't feel angry, right? They'll say stuff like, well, you never feel mad. And they don't realize that it's been a lifetime of practicing strategies so that we don't act out our anger in a way that's going to negatively impact our life, right? So modeling that for kids and really letting them know, like, no, I am really nervous about what I have to do, and here are some strategies that I'm using as a result, is really powerful. And I think just normalizes it, normalizes that there are bad days, there are bad weeks. Sometimes we have bad years, but that doesn't mean that it's going to sustain at that intensity for our lifetime.
So let's say I'm a teacher. I could be any teacher, K-12. And inevitably, you will end 5 minutes early for whatever you're doing. And you're on a schedule. So you're like, okay, we can't leave for 5 minutes until we go to specials class or until you go to the next hour. What is something a teacher could do in like those 5 minutes that are left to do a little bit of mindfulness or some sort of relaxation?
Yeah, I love that question. Couple of things. First and foremost, what we know about mental health and social emotional learning is the most protective factor for kids is feeling connected and like they belong. So in those 5 minutes, it gives you a really great opportunity to pull a circle together, maybe something like if you're trained in something like restorative practices, and just connect with the kids about anything. It doesn't have to be deep mental health or social emotional talk. It can be, you could be an animal, what would you be and why? With your elementary kids, right? But just that opportunity to connect and feel like they're seen and heard and belong in the classroom is going to be critical. If you're in a space where you have 5 minutes and you really do want to practice more of a skill or a strategy, then I think, I think a really helpful way to discuss this can be to give hypothetical scenarios of like, I have this student who just got in a fight with their best friend, and now the best friend isn't talking to them, and what could that person do? I think especially when you get to that middle and high school age, talking about hypothetical kids helps more people participate in the conversation. And you kind of said it already, Sarah, but anytime you can put a mindfulness practice into your day, it's helpful. My sister's actually a teacher. So sometimes I ask her to try things out for me, or I give her ideas and, kind of nudge her in that direction. And she does a morning mindfulness practice with her students. And I will tell you, when you begin, it's hard. It's a little uncomfortable when you first begin. There's a lot of laughing. But what you will find is 2 weeks into it, the kids will be begging. And if you run out of that 5 minutes and you cut the mindfulness activity, they will say, we can't go on with our day. We haven't done the mindfulness, the 2 minutes of mindfulness yet. But really just giving space to kind of sit quietly, we don't do that much in our world right now. And I think that can be helpful too.
That last thing you said is a really good point, that we don't ever take time to actually sit still. I think that was one of the things they talked about through adaptive schools training, was the biggest gift you can give someone is the ability to sit still. So I just am really happy you said that. But I could sit here and listen to you talk about SEL and mental health all day, but it is a tech podcast. So we really want to talk a little bit about the intersection between SEL and mental health and technology. So I guess I'm curious, how do you see those two things connecting?
Yeah, there's a